Meet Amani. Amani was born into a world of joy and love. Her village, surrounded by rolling hills and lush fields, was a place where laughter echoed through the air, and the warmth of family could be felt everywhere. As a little girl, Amani's days were filled with endless possibilities. She would run through the grassy fields, barefoot and carefree, chasing butterflies under the bright African sun. Her big, curious eyes sparkled with dreams, and her infectious laughter brought smiles to everyone around her. At night, she would sit by the fire, listening intently to her grandmother's stories about the world and the endless opportunities it held. One day, she would declare proudly, "I will leave this village and make you all proud." Her father would chuckle softly, patting her head as he said, "With your heart, Amani, you can do anything." Life at that time seemed perfect. Amani had everything a young girl could ask for: love, laughter, and a family that cherished her. Her future was bright, and she was certain that the world had great things in store for her. But life has a way of testing even the strongest of spirits. When Amani turned 14, a severe drought swept through the village, turning the once fertile land into barren dust. Crops withered, livestock perished, and the village began to starve. The joy that once filled Amani's home was replaced with uncertainty and fear. Her father, who had been the rock of their family, fell gravely ill. Amani, still a child herself, watched helplessly as the man who had always been her source of strength weakened before her eyes. His death left a gaping hole in their lives. Her mother, devastated by grief, fell into deep depression, leaving Amani to care for her younger siblings. She was forced to drop out of school to work in nearby farms, doing whatever she could to put food on the table. Gone were the days of carefree laughter. Now, every day was a battle for survival. As the years passed, Amani grew thin from hard labor, and the sparkle in her eyes dimmed. Her once vibrant dreams felt distant, buried under the weight of her family's struggles. She felt trapped, her life now a far cry from the one she had envisioned. The nights were the hardest. Alone with her thoughts, she would gaze up at the stars, tears streaming down her face as she wondered if she would ever find happiness again. But even in the darkest of times, hope flickered within her. Deep down, Amani knew that she couldn't give up. She was determined to find a way out, not just for herself but for her family. Every penny she earned from the fields, she saved. Bit by bit, she scraped together enough to buy books, determined to teach herself what she had missed during the years she couldn't attend school. For years, she studied late into the night, her dim candlelight casting long shadows across the worn pages. Though exhausted, she refused to quit. Her spirit was bruised but not broken. She believed that education was her ticket to a better life, a way to reclaim the dreams she had once held so close. Her determination paid off. After years of struggle and self-teaching, Amani earned a scholarship to attend college. It was her second chance, and she seized it with everything she had. While in college, she excelled in her studies, pouring her heart into every assignment, every lecture. Her hard work was finally paying off, and with each passing day, her confidence grew. Graduation day was a moment Amani had dreamed of for years. Standing on the stage, dressed in her cap and gown, she held her diploma high, her heart swelling with pride. The girl who had once toiled in the fields was now a graduate, ready to take on the world. Her family, standing in the audience, smiled through tears of joy. They knew how much she had sacrificed to get there, and seeing her succeed was a triumph for all of them. Amani's success didn't stop there. With her education, she secured a job in the city, one that allowed her to move her family out of the village and into a better life. Her siblings went back to school, and her mother, though still grieving, found peace in knowing that their future was secure. Years later, Amani returned to her village, not as the girl who had once longed to escape, but as a woman who had conquered the trials of life. She stood on the hill where she had once played as a child, looking down at the village with a sense of peace. The fields, now green again, swayed gently in the wind, and the sound of children laughing filled the air. Amani smiled. She had risen from the ashes of her suffering, and in doing so, had discovered a strength within herself that she never knew she had. Life had tested her, but she had emerged victorious, her dreams not only fulfilled but surpassed. She was no longer just a girl with big dreams. She was a woman who had faced the world and won. And in that moment, as the sun set over the hills, Amani knew that her journey, though hard, had led her exactly where she was meant to be, home, in both body and spirit.